Medicinal cannabis is becoming a common consumer good in the United States and Canada. One of the major players in the game is Green Thumb Industries, or GTI. GTI has been able to spread its wings across the United States with over 77 retail outlets and is still counting. Today we'll be taking a deep dive into Green Thumb Industries' performance this year and possible moves in 2023. Measured in US dollars, the stock trades at around $10 a share, down from a year's high of $21 per share. Nevertheless, its price-earnings ratio remains high at 31 times. Green Thumb Industries is a national cannabis consumer packaged products and retailer popular in the United States. The company was established in 2014 to provide Americans access to safe and effective cannabis. GTI produces and distributes a wide range of branded cannabis products, including flowers, concentrates, edibles, and topicals. Rhythm, Dog Walkers, and the Feel Collection are brands in the GTI portfolio. With the addition of Bebo, a high-end cannabis brand, to its lineup of goods in 2019, GTI has been able to increase its profitability and market share. Bebo, which was popularly named as the Hermes of cannabis by the New York Times, entered in 2018 into an exclusive partnership with Barney's New York to open a high-end cannabis shop-in-shop called The High End in Beverly Hills. In spite of increasing inflation and increased economic unpredictability, Green Thumb has reported record revenue and adjusted operating EBITDA for the quarter. Green Thumb revenue rose 3% quarterly and 12% annually to $261 million. For the first 9 months of 2022, its GAAP net income was positive, coming in at $10 million or 4 cents per diluted share. A significant cash flow from operations of $48 million was produced by the company for the third quarter. Green Thumb announced intentions to increase its medical cannabis retail footprint in Florida on October 19, 2022, after the end of the quarter, by entering into leasing agreements with Circle K, a major international convenience store retailer. Green Thumb intends to begin its test and learn phase of the rollout in 2023, subject to regulatory permission following construction, with about 10 Rise Express branded medical dispensaries next to Circle K shops in various Florida areas. In the third quarter of 2022, GTI saw an increase in total revenue of 11.8% from the same time the previous year to $261 million, or a 2.7 sequential increase. Greater retail sales in Illinois, which reflect the legalization of adult-use cannabis, 12 more retail locations compared to the third quarter of last year, and increased traffic in the company's 77 open and operational retail stores were the main drivers of revenue growth. Compared to $129 million, or 55% of sales in the same period previous year, gross profit for the third quarter of 2022 was $131 million, or 50% of revenue. Comparing the third quarters of 2021 and this year, the third quarter of this year had a total increase in marketing, general, and administrative expenditures of $82 million, or about 31% of revenue. The rise in overall expenses was caused by an increase in the number of stores the company has, which was mainly offset by an increase in retail pay and benefits, intangible amortization expense, and other operational and facility expenses. The company's third quarter 2022 net income was $9.8 million or 4 cents per basic and diluted share, down from the prior year's quarter net income of $20 million, or 9 cents per basic and 8 cents per diluted share. The $10.4 million decrease in net income was principally caused by fair value adjustments to the company's warrant liabilities, which were included in other income expense net during the same period the previous year. EBITDA in the third quarter of 2022 was $73 million, or 28% of revenues, as opposed to $75 million, or 32% of revenues in the comparable quarter. Amounting to $84 million, or 32% of sales, as opposed to $81 million, or 34% of revenue for the third quarter of 2021. Adjusted operating EBITDA was free of non-cash stock-based compensation of $7.9 million and other non-operating adjustments of $3.3 million. As of September 30th, 2022, Current assets were $318 million, including cash and cash equivalents of $147 million. Total debt outstanding was $255 million. As we enter 2023, we're optimistic about the future of the U.S. cannabis market. In a recent release, the leadership of the company promised to focus on execution, maintaining a strong balance sheet, and making strategic investments in markets that will generate strong returns for stakeholders over time. Overall, we can see that Green Thumb Industries has been a profitable company with consistent growth over the years. One of the major factors stopping the company from achieving its full potential is that cannabis is not legal federally in the United States. On Monday, December 5th, cannabis stocks rallied thanks to President Joseph Biden signing a bill to expand cannabis research and the hopes that the SAFE Banking Act, which would make it easier for America's banks to serve marijuana companies, could be included in the National Defense Authorization Act. These 5 points summarize the performance of GTI shares from a fundamental perspective. Revenue in the latest quarter increased 12% year over year to $261 million. Year to date, 2022 revenue increased 17% to $758 million compared to the first 9 months of 2021. 9 consecutive quarters of positive GAAP net income, delivering $10 million or 4 cents per basic and diluted share. Adjusted operating EBITDA grew 7% sequentially to $84 million or 32% of revenue. Cash flow from operations of $48 million, net of income tax payments of $31 million for the quarter. That said, the share price of GTI has dropped from $21 to $10 per share during 2022. From a technical view, GTI stocks are currently trading above the 100 simple moving average. These bullish signs could indicate that bulls might be ready to push the shares higher. Already, cannabis can be consumed in 21 American states, and 37 states allow for the consumption of medical marijuana. This list will grow in the coming years. Please keep in mind that what we are doing here is providing some of the key figures about this company, and that we are not providing purchase or sales advice about these shares. Any investment decision is up to you, and any decision you make about these shares should be based upon your own research into the company. Nor are we, in this instance, from a health perspective, advocating the consumption of cannabis, which is, again, an individual decision on the part of each consumer. That's all the time we have today on The Investment Advisor. I'm your host, Matthew Stevenson, in partnership with Dukas Copy TV. Remember, money can take care of you. It cannot take care of itself.